We all know that one kid who doesn't take notes in class at all, doesn't seem like he puts in any effort, but somehow he gets a top score in every single exam. It seems like they've got this special gift or it's something in their genetics. And even though you don't think about it much, there's always that feeling of jealousy in the back of your mind. Why do they get to work so less and have this amazing result? What if I told you that this is not a lucky gift that they have, but rather a skill? What if I told you that anyone, including yourself, can learn this skill and completely transform your student life? You see, if you want to become more like that kid that I'm talking about, the number one thing that you have to realize is this. What you do at home, how you study, what you do on your desk at home, that's only a small part of what really matters. There are loads of other things you could be doing to get an amazing grade. But the sad part is most people spend their full effort and time on this small part of studying at home. So that kid in class who doesn't put in any effort and aces every exam, what he's actually doing is putting in his effort in these other parts as well. But for most people, it seems like he's not putting in any effort at all because they don't know that this other part exists. They don't know what else they could be doing apart from studying at home on their desk. So that's exactly what I'm going to be sharing with you today. So by the end of this video, you will know the other things that you could be doing apart from just traditionally studying on your desk and taking notes in class, so you can become more like that kid in class that I'm talking about. So without further ado, let's get straight into the first thing that you could be doing, which is to know when to listen and when to not listen in class. It may seem like that kid in class doesn't listen to what their teacher is saying at all. But the thing is, they actually are listening. They just choose when to listen and when not to listen. The thing is, not everything that your teacher says is going to be important. They may be going a bit off topic or off the curriculum, or they may be going outside of what really matters. And the thing about that kid in class is they are able to identify when what they're hearing is important or not. So this is something that I talk about quite a lot in my channel. There are two main objectives that you can choose to have when you're in a classroom. The first one is what most people do, and it is to go into class with the objective of taking notes. So that means as soon as you arrive in class, you pull out your notebook and you get ready to record and summarize whatever the teacher is saying. But the second objective, the one that I encourage, is to go into class and try to understand and get the big picture of what you're hearing. So that kid in class, he's able to see the big picture of what the whole thing is about. So that's how he identifies what is important and what is not. Imagine you're in a car driving down a highway at night. So when you go into class with the objective of taking notes, it's as if your headlights are very, very short. So you're only able to see a very short distance ahead. You can only keep on writing what the teacher is saying, and that's about it. But when you go into class with the objective of trying to understand what you're hearing, that's when you're able to open your headlights very far ahead. So you're able to predict what the teacher is going to say next. You're able to see why they're saying what they're currently saying, and you just generally get the big picture. So this is what allows you to identify whether what you're hearing is important or not. Sometimes the teacher may be talking about a very little detail inside a very little subtopic, and it doesn't really matter. But on the other hand, sometimes the teacher is explaining the backbone of the entire chapter, and that's super important. So by knowing when to listen and when not to listen, it will seem as if you're putting much less effort into the class, but you're still getting the same results. School will be a lot less stressful for you now because you now have time to talk to your friends in class and have fun. But if you really want to extend your headlights even further than this, then apart from just listening and understanding the big picture, there's another tool that I like to use called nonlinear note-taking. I know you're probably thinking, what are you talking about? That kid doesn't even take notes in class. I'm going to click off this video. I just want to make clear that I don't even see nonlinear note-taking as note-taking because most of it is done inside your head. It is simply something that I do that allows me to reduce my notes from 20 pages to 1 page, as well as allows me to see the big picture and identify when the teacher is just yapping. So just bear with me for a minute before you click off this video. So first of all, I want to talk about linear note-taking. Now, linear note-taking is what most people do. So you're just simply adding bullet points as you're hearing something new, trying to summarize what the teacher is saying and going topic by topic. So your notes will be pretty organized and it will look more like a textbook. But the thing is, linear note-taking is what causes the headlight of your car to become very short. So there's just this wall of text in front of you, and as you're getting new information from the teacher, you're constantly just adding to this big wall of text. So this causes your perception about your topic to become relatively narrow. On the other hand, non-linear note-taking is when your notes are more messy. So you have topics just floating around and you're making connections here and there, and your notes look more like a big diagram for the entire chapter. So this big diagram that you have in front of you allows you to see the big picture and identify when the teacher is saying something really important or not. Plus, the thing is, before you can even write something down, you have to think very hard about where you're going to put the information itself on the big diagram. You have to think about how it relates to other topics or how it matters inside the big picture. So this allows you to think as well as take notes at the same time, which if you've been watching my channel for a while now, you will know that this combination is what allows you to remember almost everything that you hear in your classroom. But anyways, my point is, non-linear note-taking requires much less writing than linear note-taking, but still it achieves big results. So if you want to significantly reduce the amount of notes you take in class so that you can free up more time and have fun with friends, then non-linear note-taking is definitely worth trying out. So far, we've only talked about the things that you can do inside the classroom. So for this next tip, let's see one of the things that you can do outside the classroom that will help you become more like that kid. The type of content that you consume has a massive effect on your school performance. So if you want to become very smart without having to try hard in class, then the type of content that I encourage you to consume are entertainment videos with just a bit of educational content inside. When you watch these type of content on YouTube, it does so many things to your brain. First of all, it trains your brain to listen to something for more than 10 minutes, which improves your attention span. Second of all, it makes you more curious. It trains you to listen to something and try to understand the big picture without having to take notes, which is exactly what we were just talking about in the last tip. So what I like to do is to watch entertainment videos mixed with education on YouTube. So for example, there's mini video essays or mini documentaries, or it doesn't even have to be that educational. There are so many other videos out there that are super entertaining, but it is mixed with just the right amount of education. So if you can find that perfect fit for you, what you watch will not be boring at all. And this is something that you can watch when you're having dinner or in your rest time. But before I continue this video, please consider subscribing to my channel because we're trying to reach 500 subscribers as fast as we can. It would really help me out if you subscribe, and I would appreciate it a lot. And the thing is, it doesn't even have to be just videos. It can be video games. Just think about it. If you're playing a World War I shooter game or a game about being an assassin in the Cold War, then the next time you're about to enter a history class, then you will be just a bit more excited, especially if you're learning about that topic itself. So instead of watching brain rot content all day, just try to shift more towards the long-form educational entertainment videos. It has such a massive effect on your brain, and it makes you effortlessly smarter in school. This way, you're constantly immersing yourself in knowledge and you're putting yourself in an environment that allows you to learn new things while having fun. Mental imaging is a thing that you can do to immerse yourself very quickly, and it takes a very short amount of time to do it. So all you have to do is to just think of a vocab that you have learned recently. It can be any subject. Just think of a new word that you have learned, a new molecule or a new chemical or even a new formula. Try to think to yourself, what's that word that my teacher said? I'm sure that I wrote it down in my notes somewhere, but what is the actual word itself? So this gets your brain thinking. And if you're not able to remember the word, then you will have this very annoying feeling at the back of your head of not being able to remember something. So your brain will work very hard to recall that word. And once you have recalled it, then naturally you will start thinking what the word actually is, what it means, what it is involved in. So pretty soon, you will find yourself mentally walking through what you have learned in class. And you don't even have to force yourself to do this. Your brain is already doing it by itself because you have started by trying to remember a random vocab that you have learned. So just by thinking of one random word that you've learned in class, this makes your brain go down a little rabbit hole that makes you more curious and it makes you more immersed in what you're learning. So this way, you will be able to remember a lot of what you hear inside your classroom, especially those small little details. So the next time an exam comes, you can ace it with very little revision. So those were some of the things that you can do to become more like that kid in class who seems like he doesn't put in much effort but somehow aces every exam. So hopefully by now, you've seen that there are lots of other things that you could be doing apart from just studying on your desk at home. So just by shifting your energy and time into those other areas as well, you'll be able to see big results and improvement at school.